When I first started growing succulents, they were so much fun. It brought me so much joy. It would help me get through my different days of depression. And it was just a really great thing to have in my life. But I've noticed over the last few months that I have been avoiding my succulents. I haven't want to water them. Even looking at them makes me frustrated and upset and just disappointed and discouraged. So a couple weeks ago, I noticed that this was happening. I was trying to dig more into why it was happening. And I want to show you just at a really basic level what was going on as I looked at my succulents, and also how I've shifted that now and what I think now when I look at my succulents. And I think you might find some similarities here. You might find some things that are different, but I thought it would be helpful to give you a little bit of insight as to how something that can bring you so much joy can sometimes also bring a little bit of frustration or anxiety or anger, and that's okay. We just need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and finding ways to get back to having those things bring us joy. For today, we're just gonna look at the succulents that are in my office. Now, I generally consider these to be succulents that, I don't know, there's a combination ones that are struggling the most and some that are doing better than others. But it was where I was keeping succulents planted in Snappy Pots that I could use for photos. So in some ways, I put a lot of pressure on these plants to keep them alive and looking good so I could take photos for Snappy Pots. I also have my succulent tracker app here. So you can see these have actually been watered a day ago. And like I said, I noticed that I was kind of in this funk about 3 weeks ago, and that's when I made a turning point and actually started watering my succulents more. So even though these have been watered a day ago, if we go into a particular plant, you can see right here, the average watering for this is every 14 days, which for Haworthia is pretty good, but here's this little guy right here. For something that's under grow lights, as long as this succulent is, it actually needs water a little bit more frequently. It's doing pretty well, but you can see here, you know, some of these are really starting to get red and brown. So that's the first thing that I noticed when I'm looking at these is like, gosh, these are so stressed out. They're still alive, but they're so stressed out, a lot of dried up leaves. This little Crassula rupestris, you can see like the leaves are so underwatered. Really, really struggling. These are like almost bleached white because they are so underwatered and so oversunned because of all the light, and I haven't adjusted the light at all. So this is kind of typically what goes through my head when I'm looking at these. I'm like, man, this is so dried up. This one is crazy stressed. This little guy, this poor little guy, this is a variegated Haworthia. It's just so dried up. This makes me super sad. I had this Graptivaria Debbie cutting, well, it was a plant. I took a cutting off of it, and as you can see, there were a bunch of babies growing, and I wanted so badly to get them all to grow and have a bunch of Graptivaria Debbies, but because it went for 3 weeks without water multiple times, so I was watering it like once a month. We can pull it up. I'm guessing it will be similar. Where is it? Right here. Average watering every 12 days. So this one I did water a little bit more, but here you can see what it used to look like and what it looks like now. So this is part of why I was getting really frustrated. This is what I was seeing is like, okay, these are really dried up. They are really sad. And it's because I'm not watering them. So I was putting all of this pressure and like guilting myself because these plants were dying. But I had some other things going on in my life, which is typical. I have 2 young children, I'm running a business, and you know, just other summer life things. But what I have shifted to now is I can buy more succulents. These are all replaceable. And now as I'm looking at these, I'm thinking it is so impressive that these have survived. And even look at this. So this is a gold nugget sempervivum. As you can see, it used to have a nice healthy plant in there, but look how cool this is. Despite my lack of watering, it has a bunch of chicks on it still that are somehow surviving. So I'm gonna keep watering it, keep seeing what it's doing. Even this poor little Debbie here, this was one of my favorites. I think it may actually have been the top of the other one that I just showed you. It is dried up, but also look at how it is, whoops, let me show it to you. Let me see how it is still surviving. Here's some other cool things that have come out of this. Look at this gorgeous color on these sedum newspameraniums. I practice that one a lot to say it. They look so good. So yes, this little panda plant might not have done super well, but these sedums have done awesome. So have these. I can't remember the name of them offhand. This little monstrous cactus over here is doing super well. And even this variegated Haworthia, it does have a bunch of dead leaves, but look at the center. It's starting to grow back. It's doing well. So this is obviously just one shelf of my succulents. I have, well, let's see. On this shelf, we have 27 plants. But as you can see up here, I have almost 300 plants total. And I have a different video where I showed you I actually whittled down my succulent collection from just over 400 to now just under 300. And I want to cut it back even more because I want to just focus on a few succulents and keep them healthy rather than have the stress of having hundreds of succulents that all need my attention. But I have also streamlined my watering process to make it faster. So instead of taking 4 hours, it only takes 2, and that has helped a lot as well. So all of that to say, if you are struggling to keep your succulents alive, it's okay. So am I. And it's not from lack of knowing what to do. I think that's sometimes this pressure of knowledge, right? I know how to keep these succulents alive. I know how to help them look better than they currently look. But I haven't put the energy or effort into doing it, and that's okay. And they'll either survive because they're succulents and they do that, or they'll die, and maybe I'll replace them, maybe I won't, but it's okay because they have brought me joy in the past. They served their purpose, and now I need something else from them. So I don't know, it's just worked out really well for me. And I've just noticed over the last few weeks as I've focused on, if I can care for them, great. If I can't, that's okay too. Succulents are there when I need them, and they're okay when I don't. And they're replaceable. And yes, I know sometimes like spending $5 or $10 to buy more succulents is really expensive, but we spend that money on food every day that nourishes us and keeps us alive. And succulents help bring us joy. But if we're using them as a way to guilt ourselves or make ourselves feel bad about what we're doing, then they're not serving their purpose. So let them go and then bring some more back or buy some more when you're ready for them to bring that joy into your life again.